This is Gee Whiz God, the 10 Virgins. Many years ago, I heard my mother sharing a revelation the Lord had given her regarding the parable of the 10 virgins. Reading from the Holmes Christian Standard Bible, Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 to 13. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the groom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were sensible. When the foolish took their lamps, they didn't take olive oil with them, but the sensible ones took oil in their flasks with their lamps. Since the groom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. In the middle of the night, there was a shout, "Here comes the groom! Come out to meet him!" Then all those virgins got up and trimmed their lamps. But the foolish ones said to the sensible ones, "Give us some of your oil because our lamps are going out." The sensible ones answered, "No, there won't be enough for us and for you. Go instead to those who sell and buy oil for yourselves." When they had gone to buy some, the groom arrived. Then those who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later, the rest of the virgins also came and said, "Master, Master, open the door for us." But he replied, "I assure you, I do not know you. Therefore, be alert, because you do not know either the day or the hour." I heard her say in a very excited voice, "The Lord showed me the key to this parable is in the oil." The oil represents a unique mixture to each woman. Everyone had different oil in their own lanterns. At the time, I sort of thought, well, that's cool, Mom, and life moved on. But now, many years later, I find this parable repeatedly coming to the forefront of my spirit. I give honor to my mom for sharing this revelation with me and others years ago, but now I would like to expound upon this message as I have been meditating on it. I saw that the lanterns are inside of us and not on the outside. The oil inside the lantern is reflective of our individual walks with the Lord, which this parable nicely shows us we have a personal responsibility for. Our walk with the Lord is expressed in many different ways, but the scripture that comes to mind in regards to the oil lamps of the heart is Matthew chapter 16, verses 24 and 25. Then Jesus came to his disciples and said, "If anyone wants to come with me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life because of me will find it." Let me gently point out, Jesus mentioned picking up a cross and following him before he himself even got to the cross. He already knew what he was called to and was carrying it figuratively, even at that time. To pick up our cross and follow him is not a life based on do's and don'ts. It is not a life where acts of servitude are counted and compared with others. It is a life based on relationship with him. The more you pursue him, get to know him, the more the relationship with him grows. Galatians chapter 5 tells us the fruit of your life will reflect love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. And out of a relationship with him, love grows. John chapter 14, verse 15 says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." When love is the basis for the relationship, the do's and don'ts are secondary, not first. Otherwise, you are just following the law and have truly missed the whole point of the gospel. Out of relationship with him first, everything flows and follows, or follows and flows. This is not to say it is always easy. As we walk with him, we exchange our weakness for his strength. We allow him to shape and mold us into his image. There are many times when it is a life of sacrifice. You die to self so that Christ in you may live. This simply means I want to go this way, but I feel he is telling me to go that way. And so we yield to him and say, "Not my will, but I trust your plans for my life and will go your way." He never takes our free will. We always have the choice, but we allow him to perfect love within us. And therein lies the process of dying to self. Let me assure you about something. He always, always, always has your very best in interest in the forefront of his heart. You can always trust him. Dying to self is really dying to selfishness, because what comes forward is selflessness, or you can say what comes forward is love. In Exodus chapter 27, Moses is giving instructions for the tabernacle. In verse 20, he gives specific instructions as to how and why they were to attend to the lamps. You are to command the Israelites to bring you pure oil from crushed olives for the light, in order to keep the lamp burning continually. The oil in our lamps is costly. You don't just take an olive and squeeze it and the oil comes out. You must crush it. It needs to be pulverized, actually. God doesn't do this to us, but everyone goes through trials, tribulations, and processes. The crushing comes not from the situation, but by allowing him to have his way through it, responding how he would have you respond, heal as he would have you heal. Impurities are worked out of us, and our oil lamps become full of pure oil, which cannot be seen, but can be measured by the fruit of our lives. A very small and simple example of this. Perhaps you are one who deals with road rage. Someone cuts you off on the road, and that is the quote situation. The natural flesh response and desire would be to become angry and respond in turn. But because you have spent time with him in the word, in prayer, in worship, and you are abiding in him and he is abiding in you, you are filled with his presence and his grace overwhelms you. You instead find yourself completely unaffected to your own personal delight, and you just keep driving it as if it never even happened. Those who knew you before are looking at you wondering, who the heck are you? So you allowed flesh to die and him to live within you. You chose time with him rather than time elsewhere, and it cultivated good fruit. There were 10 virgins. They were all aware of what was happening when the time of visitation came. Only 5 were ready, and the other 5 recognized they had missed it. They called out to the others to give them more oil for their lamps, but understand, even if they wanted to, the other 5 could not. No one could pick up your cross and carry it for you. You must do this yourself and have your own relationship with him. This is between you and he. We must pursue him for ourselves, and to the level we allow him to perfect love within us is the level of pure oil we have in our lanterns. In this way, we let our light shine day and night, and oh, what a beautiful light.